yesterday I had a client that had been waiting 6 weeks to get in to see me. As soon as she sat down, I could tell just by her words and her demeanor that she knew what she wanted. And she was very opinionated. But after I spent some time with her and doing a thorough consultation with her, she just simply looked at me and said, "Sherry, you know what? I have complete trust in you. Just do what you want." And throughout the entire service, she was completely relaxed. And guys, this is what we need to be able to achieve as a hairstylist, to get clients referring, giving reviews, and returning and becoming a loyal client. So in today's episode, I'm going to share with you and walk you through exactly what I did in this consultation with this client to gain the level of trust that she had in me. Do you want a full chair with a steady flow of clients and more confidence behind the chair, but you struggle with slow books, inconsistent income, and feeling stuck or discouraged? If so, my friend, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Sherry Brody, hairstylist, educator, and mentor behind the chair. After rebuilding my business multiple times, I've learned how to own my chair like a business, creating clarity, confidence, and consistency without the feeling of burnout. So grab your shears, step behind the chair with me, and let's build that business you've been dreaming of. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through It. I'm Sherry Brody, your host, and today we're talking about something that is vital for you as a hairstylist to be able to become an expert at, and that is being able to give a consultation that makes the client feel in your chair so seen and so heard that they have complete confidence in you. But the other reason that I want to talk to you about consultations is because, guys, it's not just about the client's confidence in you and your abilities, because there's nothing worse. And I know you know what I mean. There's nothing worse than to be working on a client who is scared and nervous the entire time. But guys, that's what brings me to the other purpose of this consultation. Being able to give a good consultation, it's about giving you the confidence as a hairstylist that you're giving her exactly what she wants. I get all the time asked by hairstylists, like, how do I tell a client that the style that she wants or the color she wants will not work on her? It's not hard, guys, when you give a really good consultation. There's a book that I read, and I recommend you reading it as well. It's by Stephen Covey, and it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there is a quote in there that describes exactly what a consultation does. Diagnose before you prescribe. That simple. Think about it like this. Let's say you went to the doctor. You're feeling like crap. Just not long ago, I had pneumonia for about a month. And what if I went in to the doctor and I just went in and the doctor, just looked at me and said, "Hi, how you doing?" And didn't ask me any questions about how I felt, didn't check out my vitals or anything like that, and told me what I had and prescribed medicine. How confident would I feel in that doctor? No, I went into the doctor, they took my blood pressure, all the vitals. He asked me all kinds of questions and, listened to my lungs and looked into my ears and everything like that. And then he said something to me that surprised me. He said, "Sherry, I'd really like to do an x-ray of your lungs. What I'm hearing kind of concerns me. I can easily just prescribe, something to help as if it's a cold. But I really think what I'm hearing is something a little bit worse than that. And I would love to do an x-ray." And because he took the time that he did and the way he spoke to me, I had complete confidence that, yeah, let's do an x-ray. And obviously the x-ray was worth it because I had pneumonia. And will I be back to that doctor and that doctor's office? Absolutely. Because I felt seen, I felt heard and I felt taken care of. And the problem I had was taken care of. And that's how you need to think of a consultation as a hairstylist. The most important thing that you can do during a consultation is ask open-ended questions. Don't ask questions like, do you like your hair? Do you like your hair color? Do you like the length of it? No. You need to ask open-ended questions to get them to speak more to you. For instance, tell me about your last haircut. What did you like about it? What was it that you didn't like about it? How much time do you have to style your hair in the morning? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you're getting into the client's life and understanding, if this haircut, I'm talking about a client that's come in, for example, and it's asked for a haircut. And so I ask her questions that help me get to know her as a person so that I can, the style that she's showing me, let's say she's showing me a style of a haircut that is going to require a lot of product and a lot of styling time. Well, if she tells me that she doesn't have time and she's a new mom, well, that's going to be a big cue for me that I need to steer her in another direction. The next thing that's super important is show me a picture of what your inspiration is for your haircut. That's a huge one, guys. It's huge in both haircutting and hair coloring. I can't tell you how many times I'd ask a client, they'd say, I want a short haircut. And they show me a picture of a haircut that's like to their shoulders. Well, to them, that's short. To me, that's not short. Or I want some layers. I'd like some layers in my hair. And then they show me a picture and you can barely see the layers. Or if we take it from a color perspective, I had a client that said she wanted her hair red. Well, my mind was like, red, like cool. So when I had her show me a picture of what she was thinking of, she showed me a picture of like a warm brown, which brings me to another side note on that with hair coloring. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I taught with Wella for quite a few years. And one of the things that really helped me behind the chair with my color clients and being able to nail and really get in their head and understand what color they're looking for, it wasn't pulling out the color swatch book. I don't ever pull that out because to them, they're looking at the color swatch and they're thinking that's the color. I always show them a picture. I recommend for you to, if you don't have it, start a Pinterest board and have a board for haircuts and different lengths of haircuts and men and women's haircuts. If you do children's, make sure it's children's, teens, have different albums for these so that you can go right to it when you're showing them, but color as well. Have different albums of different blondes, different reds, different dimensional colors so that when you're speaking to your client and you've asked them a lot of questions, and then you can show them a picture and make sure that you're on the same page. And when you're showing them color picture on a Pinterest, that's more real to them. They're going to be able to see that. For instance, I had a client that showed me, this is just something that it's just going to share with you something that I shared with this client that she really appreciated. She showed me a picture of a haircut. It was a shorter haircut. It was kind of like a stacked, like layered, trendy, just fun, like a Bixie type haircut. Now, the client that was sitting in my chair had completely one-dimensional color. She was just a brown. And the picture of her inspiration photo was a client that had like a lot of dimensional colors. She had a lot of highlights. She had finer hair than this client. And of course, it was styled up to the wazoo. It was probably AI'd. But anyhow, so when she shared the picture with me, I was able to share with her about the differences in this. Like, this is the, I just wanted to share with you, I can see that you like this length. And, like, for instance, I would even point to it and say, what do you like about this haircut? And she said, I love how, it's so full and it looks piecey. So then at that point, that's my point to say to her, well, I want to share with you something about this haircut with this model. And then I'm going to share with her about her hair. A lot of clients don't understand that, their hair is coarse or their hair is really thick or they have a different texture. And in this particular instance, not only did she have a different texture, but she didn't have the color. So I shared with her why that haircut even looked like it had more layers and more texture. Well, what ended up happening is I was able to give her that haircut that would fit her, after like listening to her and, and having the questions and showing her the picture. And after, feeling her head shape and looking at her growth patterns and her texture, I was then able to share with her the differences and share with her about the dimensional color. And we ended up doing that haircut. And then in turn, I booked her for a future appointment for adding the highlights and the dimension that she needed. And she was happy. And she ended up leaving and referring me more clients. Now, why did she do that? Because she felt seen. She trusted me because I really listened. And if you didn't listen to one of my other episodes on a consultation, be sure to go back through my episodes. I can't remember the exact title of it at this point because it just came into my mind, popped into my mind. But I go through a little bit more on, just very clearly the 3 things that you need to do to hone in on a good consultation. In this episode, I'm going in and focusing more on your communicating, the words and how to really figure out what your client wants and being able to assess whether you can or cannot and how to communicate that back. So by me just taking the time to ask the open-ended questions and really listening to her and repeating back to her what she said to me, she felt heard and validated, and she could tell that I was really listening to her. And then when I asked her for her picture, to show me a picture of what she wanted, I was able to really see what was in her head. And then I was able to share with her why, the differences, what we would need to do to make it work on her. And then we ended up not only giving her a great haircut that she was happy with, but then she rebooked. And then on top of that, I explained the styling parts of it because she's not going to get that look, right, without using the proper product. So then I educated her on that. And I not only got a new client and she was going to give me a great review and also refer her friends, and she rebooked for another service. She also bought product from me. So I share this with you because it is, guys, it is the number one thing you've got to really hone in on to really create that loyalty with your clients and to get those referrals. And most importantly, guys, for you to have confidence in yourself and your abilities, because guys, honestly, you're the one, you're the pro, you're the one working behind the chair. And when you just start in, you ask, they show you a picture what they want, and you just start in doing that haircut or doing that color without really taking the time to make sure that what you're doing is going to work for that client. Gosh, you could put so much time into it. At the end of the day, that client could be really unhappy because you didn't take the time. It could be the best work you ever did. But if you're putting it on somebody that it's not going to work with, then it doesn't really matter, right? So this is where it comes in that yes, we've got to have a great skill set, but we have to, most importantly, we have to make our clients feel seen and heard. And that in turn is going to take the stress off of you of, first of all, getting the client to return. And second of all, getting the stress of you wondering, how do I tell a client if, the client, if the style or the color she's wanting isn't going to work for her? It's not hard when you take the time to do these steps. So I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. And hey, if what I shared with you today helps you, I would love to hear about it. Hit subscribe and write a review and let me know. I read each and every one of them. And if you would like to learn more about what I offer and how you can get a little bit more mentoring and education from me, please visit my website at hairbysherry, SHERRI.com. And you can get on my list, my email list. Every week I send out a newsletter that's just almost like a hug and inspiration from me, where I share just real life stuff and real life tips that you can use today behind the chair to help you grow and give you the confidence you need to build that business that you're dreaming of. Now, always remember, your clients, they're going to remember more about how you made them feel than anything else at all. Happy haircutting, everybody. Hey, friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If it helped you, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and leave a quick review and share what stood out most for you today. When you leave a review, it helps other stylists find this show. And hey, if you want to hang out with me more and learn alongside other like-minded stylists who are working on building their clientele as well, I have a free Facebook group I just started. You'll find the link in the show notes below. I'd love to have you there and hang out with you. I'll be back next week. Until then, happy haircutting, and remember, your chair is your business, so own it like a pro.